The other day, I was in a store. Actually, I was outside the store because there was a big, long line of people trying to get in. And I remember when I said, wow, this is a long line, instead of hearing grumpy words and people getting angry, they all smiled. When I got inside, indeed, the aisles were so crowded that people were bumping into each other. And a man was coming this way, and I was going that way, almost bumped into him. And instead of being upset, he smiled and said, Happy Thanksgiving. And I thought, wow, spirit of Christmas starting even before Thanksgiving. Isn't that great? Wouldn't it be nice this year to stay in the warmth of Thanksgiving weekend? Wouldn't it be nice to spend the season of Advent simply getting ready for Christmas and simply waiting for the baby in the manger? It would be nice to experience Advent as nothing more and nothing less than a prelude to Christmas, a time of quiet meditation and joyful hope. It would be nice, in this year in particular, if you could just forget about being vigilant and avoid praying for the strength to avoid the tribulations of life. This year, couldn't we ignore the warnings to stay alert, the predictions of fear and dismay, and simply focus on the Blessed Mother and Joseph, the searching Magi, and the heavenly promise waiting to be fulfilled? But for people that you know, this season is anything but a season of warmth and love. When greeted with Happy Thanksgiving, they respond with, what do I have to be happy about? Let alone be thankful for. For so many people, this is a season filled with memories of a loss of affection and bitter disappointment. They just wish, they could go back and change the past. And maybe you're one of those people too. You may yourself be beset by the troubles of life, trying to find peace in your own life, and not finding it, become a little older, a little more defeated with each passing day. And you may think, wouldn't it be nice this year to spend the season of Advent in the false security of simply waiting for Christmas morning? And yet, the scripture passage we just proclaimed, filled as it is with cryptic warnings and talk of signs and portents, reminds you of your own daily struggles with things like cancer, financial crises, the death of a loved one. So we need more from Advent than simply a pregnant woman and a waiting world. There has to be more to this season than paper decorations and dreams of a white Christmas. We prepare this Advent not only for the coming of a baby, but for the unexpectedness of God, who chooses to join you in the parts of your life when things went wrong, the parts when you were helpless, the parts that you felt maybe you were the mistake. We need this Advent not only to be a celebration of a birth, but the reminder that God, by that birth, is with you. We need to remember this season, not only the moment when Jesus was born, but his ministry here on earth, and the promise that he will come back to get you. Wouldn't it be nice, especially in tough times like these, to look ahead only to the manger? Instead, of up at the cross. Wouldn't it be nice to think of Jesus as a baby, safe in his mother's arms, surrounded by adoring shepherds and friendly cattle, and not have to remember what came next? It's understandable if the image you prefer is one of the Blessed Mother awaiting her child in hope, rather than Mary at the foot of the cross awaiting his broken body. But you need to remember, especially in these times, that the baby whose birth we anticipate did grow up. He didn't remain swaddled and secure, but entered the world carrying a message that God is with you. He challenged injustice even when it placed him in danger and angered those in power. He reached out even when others protested, touching the homeless, the disenfranchised, the afraid, the suffering, the grieving. He told them with his words and showed them with his actions that a loving God walked beside them, binding their wounds and forgiving their sins. The baby whose birth we anticipate grew up, and then he died on the cross and rose again, so that you can stand up, raise your head, and know that your redemption is near. And you have to grow up too. You have to root out sin for your own life, so that you can find the joy and the peace that the child of the promise can bring you. Yes, that means you have to take up your cross too, even if you don't want to, so that through your pain and suffering, a new world can be born. It's tempting sometimes to spend the season of Advent simply waiting for the birth of a baby in a manger. But this season reminds you that you're not just a spectator, that you are living this event, and that God is asking you, despite all your troubles, to be like Mary and yourself bring Jesus into the world. And as tempting as it is to stay swaddled and safe, you can only experience the season of Advent when you follow the grown-up Jesus, carrying the message that God, the ever-surprising one, is with us.